Welcome back to another knife review, and this time we're going to be talking once again about Sitivien. Now, when I did my review of this, the ST152 in K110, I was beyond impressed for a knife at only $30. This is crazy, crazy, crazy good, and I wanted to explore more, so thankfully they sent me 4 knives that we can take a look at, along with one that I purchased myself. So let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and dig in. Okay, so here we go. 4 of these knives were sent to me by Sitivien on my request. These are the models that I wanted to look at. So we'll start with the one that shocked me the most. Size proportionality in my head was completely different. This is a, well, it's a brick. It's an interesting blade shape to say the least, 14C28N. And I should mention, every knife here, all 6 of these knives are under $30. So everything is coming in at the ultra budget range. Great action, great detent on this. Really good detent. In fact, for a knife blade like this, it feels like it'd be very difficult to fail. I am not convinced this is a knife I would ever carry though. It is kind of on the heavy side. So let's take a look real quick. So 6.6 ounces. Let me check that on the gram scale. 188 grams. So that is a very, very spicy meatball. All right, the Toucan. I'm gonna call it the Toucan from now on. Anyway, let's move on. That was what my wife immediately said when she saw it. Doesn't that look like a bird? I'm like, yes, it does. All right, so this is the one from a shape perspective that appealed to me the most. So it has multiple forms of deployment, which I really like. I always am a big fan of that. It has a flipper tab on the back, and it has a really nice contoured handle. Actually, a very hand-filling handle. Hand-feeling handle. There's probably a better way to say this. But it's not perfect. Number one, it came very gritty with the bearings. Not so keen on that. And there's a couple other issues. Number one, there's a little bit of detent lash, not great. But, and there's not a lot of lock bar access. I'm still very nitpicky here for $30 in a knife in 14C28N. This is, of course, the ST149. I do really like the shape of this blade. It's close. It just needs a little bit more, you know, quality control, maybe a little bit of adjustment in geometry, and for God's sakes, knock off that 1/8 of an inch, so it's under 3.5, so it's legal in the areas that have those laws. I mean, come on, it just seems like a no-brainer. I hate it when they do that, but not bad. I would say not bad on this one. The next one, now I've seen this reviewed, and I didn't necessarily like the way it looked. However, it had great stats. So once again, it's all covered in oil, which it always comes like that. It's a 14C28N, full flat grind. Very, very nice. Very slicey. Really, really comfortable in the forward finger position. Really, really comfortable. And it has really nice action. I'm not super keen on these proprietary clips. I don't think they should be using those anymore. When we get to the last couple, they clearly changed some things over time. You could see these almost feel like the tale of 2 different companies. This over here and then this. And you'll see why. I mean, it's a completely different feel. So, not bad on this one. Remember, sub $30, about 3.5. I think it's just under 3.5, I want to say. No, oh yeah, so it's around 3.25 inches. Not bad. Very comfortable in the handle. Just not a big fan of the way this clip functions, and I would like to see it reversible. But then again, that's always the case. Now, this is the one they sent me that I didn't expect to like the most, and actually is my favorite by a long shot. First of all, the milling on the wood, it just looks so good. I think this is a great hook to get people interested in knives. These types of milling patterns, it just feels very, very cool. And very functional as well, and offers a really nice grip to it without being, you know, like it's going to cut into your pants when you put it in. So the detent on this, really, really good. It's a little on the light side, just a little bit on the light side, but very much acceptable. The position of the flipper tab helps a lot. You can see it's just above the pivot. That's going to give you the most amount of leverage, so it's very, very hard to fail. You can reverse flick this with absolutely no issue whatsoever. It's a thick, chunky boy of a blade, so real stout in the blade material. But thankfully, they compensated by using a hollow grind, so I really do appreciate that. So this ST219 comes in 9CR 18 MOV. That's a perfectly acceptable steel in the sub 30 category, in my opinion. Once again, I will say I would like to start seeing more of these clips happen on the rest of their lineup. So at this point, I think that's kind of the direction they should be going. But I really do like this one. This one is definitely the winner of these four, in my opinion. Now, I purchased this one after having this one. I also purchased this knife. So I got this directly from Amazon. They didn't cheat or anything. Like, this just came like this. It is the stupidestly... it's not words. Look, this knife is dumb. It's 3.9 inches, which I love. So they didn't skimp on the length. It is obscenely well tuned. The detent on this is actually flawless. It is perfectly centered. It has great action. It wasn't gritty out of the box. The fit and finish is so much better than the other knives that I've seen and offered. And look, more of a standardized clip. Yes, it's not a recessed screws, but I don't, for 30 bucks, I'm not that picky as far as that's concerned. And the best part about it, is that it comes in K110. That is an Austrian steel from Böhler. And the nice thing about it, it is a D2 formulation, but when you know where the steel is coming from, you can heat treat it better. You can get better performance, and they have really good quality control. D2 is made so many places, you don't know whether you're getting a good batch, a bad batch, what the heat treatment parameters should be. And so by having K110, I feel much more confident in the steel and its performance, and it's probably the only version of D2 that I'm willing to keep in my collection. This knife, which for some reason does not have a model number, don't worry, I'll put it right here, has equally impressive fit and finish, styling, handle. This actually is a nicer handle. This handle is sweet. Still under 30 bucks. And then on top of everything else, it actually has the wave function, which I thought was really, really cool. Really different blade shape than the rest, with a really, really stout tip. So if you're going to pry with one of these knives, this is the one that I would do. Not that I recommend it, but there you go. It does come in D2, unfortunately, compared to the K110. In K110 or 14C28, these two knives would be unbeatable in the $30 price point. Quite literally unbeatable. Not even close. I would take this in 14C28N immediately. The same thing is true for this knife. I think any of these three knives I would be happy to own and be under 30 bucks. Very, very nice job done by Sitivien. There's nothing... Here's the thing. This is still pretty good. 14C28N in I think all three of these. And under 30. Clearly kind of in that trying things out phase. I feel like they're starting to end up in this really great place. And as long as they can kind of control that sub $30 market, right, with the right combination of fit and finish, materials, I think they're going to do really, really well. And I think these two specifically give a great example of what they can accomplish. And if you're going to do $30 for these, give me the 14C and this. And then we have something that is, well, I mean, most knives in 14C28N are like double that. So there you go. Very, very cool job done by Sitivien here. We'll probably be seeing more from them in the future. Thanks again for your time, and we'll talk again soon.